So one of the things I mentioned is I wanted to get my boys just to watch my videos and they can kind of see how dad plays, how he practices. Maybe they'll do the work. Well, believe it or not, I'm up to 18 subscribers. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it's more than I ever thought I would get. Because honestly, like, who wants to watch somebody play golf on a sim? Well, guess what? I am going in, and I just won last week on the Garmin tour, and I'm going to go see what I can do. I'm not losing anymore. I'm so sick of losing. I can't even tell you. When it comes to men's league, when it comes to, like I have Colorado Mid-Am, things that used to be I could perform at, I'm going inside, I'm winning. I'm not going to stop playing until I win. That's how frustrated I'm getting. So I hope you join me with at least with my first round. And I got my first request, which is really cool. They asked me to walk through the round. I talk about a lot of things, so I'm just going to kind of walk through my thought process, why it's beneficial. What I do is I'm going to play a golf course. It's fun when I preview a golf course. I'll play it, I'll strategize around it, and then I'll go execute on the simulator first to see how that game plan works. And it seems to be phenomenal because when I go to the golf course, I am prepared. Now, I wish, as I'm pretending to be a PGA Tour pro or a Live Tour pro, and I'm going to play, I'm prepared as much for those golf courses as I am my home golf course, which is awesome. I just don't get to actually go play it and compete. But it's still a lot of fun. Come join me. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to walk through every shot. It might be boring, but at least you can get through my thought process of what's going through my head as I go to play. See you inside. We're familiar with decade golf. Driver is the key. Can you pull out driver and do everything you can to pull out driver on every single tee, because it's going to get you as close as possible? One of the things that I am focusing on in my driver shot is I'm standing a little taller, and then making sure that my rotation, one of my bad habits is to pull on my takeaway, I'll pull it outside the line. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm inside the line. It increases my swing speed dramatically. Okay. Oh, let's start with a birdie, huh? No. Okay. But I'm in the rough, but it's not that penal. I had 70 yards. It's kind of a 10 o'clock, 60-degree wedge. And I just try to flight it. I don't know how to explain it other than I have a lot of weight on my left foot. And then I just try to keep it from getting in the air too much. It's like the longer it's in the air, the more issues that can go wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't wrong with hitting it high, which I'll try to do on my driver here. Right. So that's exactly one. Well, I didn't hit driver. I hit 5-wood, actually. So the reason I hit 5-wood is I would easily carry it to that water, and there's no point in even bringing that on. It's just too narrow. All right. So to give you an idea, that's actually pretty far. I should have hit pitching wedge, but it was on the edge out of the rough. You assume 10% is around 13 yards. So I hit 9-iron, which puts me at 148-ish. And I hit the pitching or the 9-iron around 155, somewhere in there. Okay. This one I'm going to hit pitching wedge. No, I'm going to hit 9-iron here because it's about 12 feet up. So when I do this, it makes sure that I like the little air under the ball when I'm hitting this. So how do I do that? It's just weight distribution more than anything in my feet. Like on a 9-iron, I'll generally be like 55% of my weight in my front foot and then 45% in the rear. I just kind of back it off just a hair so it goes higher. That's it. All right, this has been my worst part of my game, is hitting these little shots where I have a chip shot that's 13 yards. All my misses generally are within a few feet of the green, so it requires like really, really soft hands. So in that case, I tried to hit a little spinner with a 56. So it's just a one hop, start to really grab and slow down. That one's predictable for me. The run out one on the sim is a little bit harder. I'll try that a little bit later when I have a chance. But ultimately, it's way easier if I do it this way. All right, 393-yard par 4. Obviously, I want to hit driver. There's not a lot of trouble here. If I can hit a draw around the corner, that's like a dream. And the way I hit a draw is I just drop my right foot back just a few inches. It's going to be close. Okay, so still, like, sometimes when I drop that right foot, I get a little scared on my swing. And this is a great example of where I pull. I know if I were to watch this on film, I took the club back on the outside the golf ball, and I cut across it in kind of like a typical over the top swing. It's minimal, right? So like it might not be as pronounced as somebody else, but it's enough that it cuts. But you can see when I bring on the target line inside, my ball speed's over 170 miles an hour and the ball's going over 300 yards at sea level, which is huge. Like this is a par 5, right? So right here, I just hit 9-iron, and then I just tried to bump a 56 and let it run out. And I guessed wrong on the run out. See, this is what I do on the sim constantly. That's really, really troubling. And it's not like it's any different on the golf course. It's the same thing. I had another video just not that long ago with 32% scrambling is my biggest issue. It is holding me back from winning. That's ultimately what the issue is. All right, this is a really fun example of a hole where I've got to play. So it's 400 yards. I want to hit driver. I looked, it's 285 to carry. The water down there at the bottom. Downhill, I'm not too concerned about that. I should be able to carry that pretty easily. All right, so I carried it 300 some odd yards. And you can see now it's way uphill. It's rolling away from me, but it makes more sense because now I have 86 yards from the rough. Who cares? I can put it on the green, and par is a good score almost always in any situation. And anytime I have a 60-degree wedge, this one I hit 56 because it's uphill and it is out of the rough. But anytime I'm like hitting from that close, me getting it on the green goes way up. I'll take that percentage. Even though my control on proximity does go down, the miss, because of a statistical dispersion, it makes way more sense to hit that club and just try to hit soft because it's downhill and it's more than enough club. This, what's funny is on the sim, when the greens are really small, like Pebble Beach, having like the rough, it sits really, really quick. And I'm still inside the circle. So I end up getting a par. That's pretty helpful for me because, like I said, those are usually my misses, just inside the rough. And I have this delicate, soft shot that I've got to hit around the greens. All right, another example. Okay, so driver's too far here. So what I've done is I've teed the ball way low. So I take the smallest plastic tees that they have. So I'm just teeing it up super low. And then I'm going to try to just hit a little bleed. That usually makes me hit a bleeder cut. And you can see how low I hit it. That way I would hit it short enough to be there. Now, who cares if I'm in the bunker? Could care less. No matter if it's the real course or the sim. And now I've got a birdie because I have a really good chance being that close. I don't really care about bunkers unless I'm going to have like a 50-yard shot, which there are a lot of drivable par 4s that are like that, where they protect it in that way. All right, so now I have a par 4 that's 370 yards up the hill. I'm going to hit driver again. You can see the bunkers are placed in a way that, for me, they're not in play. And partially this is because I'm not playing the PGA Tour golf courses or the Tour tees. I will later, just as I preview the golf course, but this is for where the tournament is for the Garmin Tour. That wasn't a good shot, but now I just tried to hit an 8-iron and I tried to get it to the fairway and let it run up. Just keeping it super low and not taking on the tree. Obviously that wasn't very good, but 47 yards, I have that pretty dialed. It's kind of like a almost 9 o'clock shot for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my club back and I'm going to take it to 9 o'clock. And then it's like, I want it to fall into the ball. Oh, I'm just short. Okay. So bogey. I deserve a bogey from where I was. But that's kind of the shot I'm trying to get. It's probably because it was uphill. I needed to go just past 9 o'clock. But again, that fall into the ball gives me the spin I need, and it stays on line really, really well. One of the things that I try to do, even in my chip shots, is Skip Kendall. He has a channel and he talks about the rhythm in which you need to do things, and it's always the same. Mine happens to be a 7.4, and I think it's called on a manometer. I hope I have that right. But ultimately, I'll listen to a manometer and it'll be 7.4, and it's like 1, 2, 1, 2. So even no matter how long the shot is, it's always that same rhythm. Sometimes it's a faster backswing to get full backswing, and then and back through. That's almost always going to be the same. And then for a putt, if I have like a 2-footer, it's like, it's 1, 2, or 1, 2. It's same rhythm, just it's a little bit slower back to my peak of my backstroke. All right, par 4, 400. This is probably one thing that's super nice about playing these tournaments. At least the golf course is short, so I have a chance to compete. And like even when I played the senior event last week, it was still a pretty long golf course. Now I have ball speeds that are on par with a typical senior tour player, or might be even a little faster, but I'm also 5 years younger than those guys. Okay, 120. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hit pitching wedge up there because it's 1, up the hill, and 2, I'm out of the rough. That plays at 132, and my pitching wedge is 138 at sea level. So that's perfect as far as yardage and rollout. So keep that in mind. Carry yardages matter more than anything else. I'm always focused on what the carry yardage is. I know that, and then I anticipate the rollout. One thing that's very specific or easy to judge on here is nearly always the rollout's going to be the same, regardless of the club. All right, 201 yards, that's a 6-iron. And basically, at a 6-iron, I'm hitting to the middle of the green no matter what. I've got a little bit of a pool. That's my normal dispersion. And I'll take that all day long. I could care less if I make birdie or even flirt with birdie. I want to be on the green, right? Usually that's how I feel if it's an 8-iron or less. If I'm on the green, I'm stoked. And then I've got a putt because my ball is in the air so long with an 8-iron distance that it just things go wrong. That's the best way to put it. Things go wrong. All right, that's a beautiful drive way up the hill, little bleeding cut, which means I probably took it just outside my the ball line when I was taking the club back in my backswing. But again, it's so minimal that I can almost correct as I shallow out my swing. And that's, again, I shouldn't be that far away. That's a pretty bad dispersion from that far, especially 73 yards. I'd like that circle to be a little bit tighter. Anything inside 10 feet is probably pretty reasonable. Even though it won't be a birdie on here, it's really, I should be giving myself that chance. All right. Oh, another long par 4. It's good to have a few of these. I imagine when I play the tour tees, this is going to be a really long hole, 500-yard par 4. Another one where I'd like to draw it. But I would take that fade all day long and not think twice. But you can see how small the golf course is when I don't draw it for this particular type of hole. How important it is. And then you take on risk when you have to cut corners. I don't like to do that. I'd rather be able to shape it just a little bit. But I'm not as skilled. And now I'm out of the rough, trying to maximize the distance, and I'm going to have a 3-putt, which is incredibly frustrating, really frustrating. That's my biggest pet peeve with this game. That one's pretty far putt, so probably a reasonable bogey. I'm going to probably 3-putt that 4 out of 10 times. All right. I have a lot of control of the driver right now. If I didn't, I don't know that I would hit driver here. I think I'd probably hit 5-wood and be short of the water, taking on the water risk. So I'm going to aim just a little bit of left because it's just rough. So I don't really care. It should put me in the 160 range maybe for a birdie. So it's worth the risk for me to do this here. So I'm going to hit left. And if it bleeds, hopefully it bleeds right back into the fairway. And that's at least my plan. Right. See, I would have been flirting with the water for sure. 5-wood would not have done that. And again, if I wasn't feeling as accurate and I didn't have that room on the left where even if I'm in the rough, I'll take 30 yards and be in the rough instead of 30 yards back and then hitting out of the fairway. I mean, that's 3 clubs. Statistically, it makes 0 sense. Having said that, it wasn't the most statistically safe tee shot either, especially on a par 5. And I bet you the stroke average here is like 4.7. I shouldn't even be taking on that risk, most likely. But I got away with it. Okay, this one, it is downhill. I am going to hit 9-iron, try to hit it soft. And just too much. Again, it's just like, I feel like when you have green lights, they're green lights. If they're not, hit the most comfortable shot. If it doesn't turn out and you're in the middle of the green, great. Par is a fantastic score. I love it. I'm never upset with a par, ever. Ever. Or some people feel like they've left things out on the table. I'm not that guy. And I would imagine most tour pros aren't like that either. Okay, so this one I'm going to hit, this is where a cut, it really makes the golf course big for me. I believe I just aimed a little bit left to make sure. And of course, I took it inside the line the way I was supposed to. I felt a little safer in doing it, I guess, because of the, I don't know why I just did that. That's frustrating. That really is. That's not my miss. Okay. I think I just gave up a birdie opportunity. But again, so short of a shot in, I don't care. These tighter fairways, though, or tighter between trouble and trees, those golf courses, like I'd be in trouble most of this round. Just because that would be one that's a great example where I've hit it into a spot that's really tough to recover from. Okay, 18th hole. I would love to get a birdie and get myself in the red. This isn't going to be good enough to win, but it's a good first start, first seeing the golf course and going from there. So I'm going to try a hook. I just tried to hook a 8-iron around because I hit my driver left. So I just wing, like basically to do that, I just drop my right foot again. I put the ball back in my stance and then I swing along my feet line and, maybe a little exaggerated release is the best way I can describe it. And then I had a stock shot there of a pitching wedge. And it worked out. So I made par, even though I hit it into the trees. Okay. Not a bad round. Not a good round. It's not good enough to win. I'm tied for second right now, but it's Monday and it's not winning. I'm going to go win.